Hello everybody. I'm making a video of one of the boats that I'm working on. This is a 1999 Searay 230 Signature Series. It's a bow rider, and it's kind of a hobby of mine. I buy boats, and sometimes I keep them, sometimes I sell them. But I like to do repairs, and partly because I'm too cheap to pay somebody else to do it. Anyway, I thought I'd do a couple of videos on this boat. I bought this boat 2022, kind of added it to my pile that I have to do. And this boat's really cool because, of course, it's a Searay. I really like Searays, but it has Corsa through hull exhaust, and it has a switch. So you can switch it over so the exhaust goes through the prop and it's not really loud, or you can flip the switch and you can have the exhaust coming through the Corsa where you can hear it. So this boat has a 5.7 Mercruiser, which is a Chevy GM 350, and it has a Bravo 3 dual prop outdrive. And I bought the boat. It came with a galvanized tandem axle trailer. I got a really good buy on this boat. The guy that had it, his landlord wanted him to get rid of it or whatever. It's pretty nasty, and all the interior needs to be redone on it. But it's a solid fiberglass boat, so there's no wood in the hull. So my wife and I, we will do the seats. I've already replaced the block. I got the engine built, ready to go back in the boat. But I'm going to remove this this gimbal housing, and then I'll replace the gimbal bearing inside, and I'm also going to replace the bellows, the rubber boots that go on the outdrive, so that it can take the shifter cable goes through, the exhaust goes through, and then the drive shaft. One of the reasons I'm going to remove this is because this gimbal housing has got a lot of corrosion. So I'll take it off and sand it down and repaint that and kind of freshen it up before I put the engine back in. If it only had a little small corrosion, you could sand that and paint it, but this one needs to be taken off completely. A lot of you may not know this, but when a boat's in the water, it has something called electrolysis, where an electric current will corrode things. So for that reason, boat manufacturers will put things on a boat that are supposed to corrode. It's called a sacrificial anode, and your boat comes with them, but you need to replace them periodically depending on the condition and the use. And this one, since it's a Bravo 3, it has one on each trim cylinder, and then it'll have one under the bottom down here where the shifter cables, or where the hydraulic lines for the tilt come through. And it's almost like cancer. Once the paint flakes off and it starts to corrode, then it'll just slowly get worse and worse, and then it'll eventually start to erode away the aluminum that the housings are made out of, and then you have to replace those parts. As it is now, I should be able to remove all of this, sand it down, clean it up, prime it, and paint it, and then replace those zincs or the anodes, put it all back together with a new gimbal bearing and with new boots. And you know, it should last for years that way. And in the meantime, I've removed all of the interior, and I've never seen as many padded parts inside a boat as this thing had. It's massive inside, and it's in really good condition structurally, and I got a bargain on it. But what I'm hoping, when I get through with it, I can use it a little while and sell it and make a good lick on it. It's an older boat, but they still seem to hold their value. I've seen them advertised. I've seen them sell pretty high, and I had a Searay 220 a few years ago, and I was really pleased with it. It had the same engine, but it had the Alpha outdrive. The way I understand it, they use the Alpha outdrive up to around 300 horsepower, and then they go with the Bravo, which might explain why this boat, typically you'd see a Bravo behind a 454 or something like that, 7.5, 7.4 liter. But this one being a fuel injected 5.7, it's probably close to that threshold. So I don't know if they ordered it that way or what, but the boat did have a Bravo 3 dual prop outdrive, Corsa through-hole exhaust. And so I've made a little bit of progress. I've got the engine completely rebuilt, and fixing to service and replace the gimbal housing. And then after I do that, I'll pressure wash it. I vacuumed the leaves out of it and swept it, and it still needs to be washed and cleaned. But when I got it, it had most of these leaves in here already, and they'll just rot over time. Anyway, when I get that far along, I'll put it under a cover, because I don't have a lot of room in my shop to work on something like this. But anyway, what my plans are is make a couple of videos about this boat, and maybe somebody can learn something from it. If nothing else, I can document what I've done to it. And everything came with it, with the exception of the cushion, the center cushion that you lean back on for this rear seat. The middle part of that was missing, and the base to the rear seat was missing. But all the front cushions were here, all the side cushions, the swim pad, all that I have. And I've ordered quite a bit of foam and vinyl, and I have a pretty good sewing machine for doing that. So I'll have to make the bottom plywood, and I'll have to make that bottom cushion and the back cushion from scratch, but I've done that before. I don't think it'll be too difficult. And my daughter does upholstery, and I could probably get her to help, but she's 6 months behind, bless her heart. So we'll do this one, and if we need her help, we may have to get her to help with the 2 captain's chairs or something. But I like the boat. It's a really cool boat, and I think it'll be worth I think the juice will be worth the squeeze, if that makes any sense. I think it'll be worth the effort if I can just find the time and the weather to get it done. So check back, and I'll update the videos as I go along. I'm pretty far behind like most people, but I like to make videos when I can. And like I said, I've learned a lot from YouTube, and hopefully somebody can gain some knowledge, or at least get encouraged to work on their boat. Or, you know, don't be afraid to take the risk. With the internet today, you can buy a boat with minimal tools and knowledge, and you can get a lot accomplished if you just make the effort. You know, if you already have a boat and it needs attention, then get off the couch and go out there and clean it or work on it or do something. Boat season's coming. And you know, when you get old, I don't think people are going to wish they had one more good day at work or playing a video game. You know, you're going to look back and say, man, if I could have just went to the lake or whatever. Anyway, check back and check my progress. I'll try to make a couple more videos soon, and you know, try to let you know what's going on with it. Thanks for watching. Bye.